Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I'm going to cover my problems with Genshin Impact, a topic that a lot of people already covered, and but and what people usually bring up whenever they talk about problems with Genshin Impact, they talk about rewards. And I've always felt a bit of a disconnect with that. I'm not saying that's not a valid concern, it's a valid concern, but I'm just saying that, let's say that I opened the mail today and I found that there are 70 or 80 limited wishes, or that we got a standard 5-star selector. Would that solve all my problems with Genshin Impact? Definitely no. A quick overview of my account so that you understand where I'm coming from. I've been playing the game since January 2021 for 3.5 years. I've never really skipped a batch. Maybe I would skip on exploration a bit, but I wouldn't really just stop logging onto the game. I've pulled a lot of 5 stars, and a lot of them have their signature weapons. Only I've only been mostly a welcome player. Like I haven't really spent top ups or anything else, or even the battle pass. As for my characters, like most of them are built, whether they are 5 stars or 4 stars, anything that's like level 80 at least is usually built. So you could understand that from what I'm saying, that I've been a very old player, so this perspective might not be what a lot of people have. First of all, what one of the things that really amused me in Genshin was the combat elemental system, the elements and how they interact with each other. Um, but I've always had a problem with this because even though I've invested a lot of time into building characters correctly and trying out different comps, I've even had that time when I could clear the abyss with over 15 different team comps, and each one would have like a different archetype. But that's it. It's the abyss, only the abyss. Um, because there's no other place that you can enjoy your built characters. And until recently they haven't added any other combat game mode, and I have a lot of problems with the Imaginarium Theater, mainly because I imagined that it would be more creative, like Honkai Star Rail Simulated Universe, because this had blessings in it. So I thought, what they called Wonder Spoons, I think. So I thought maybe that it would be really interesting, and each run would be different. But it turned out that the blessings don't really matter that much. If your characters aren't built to a medium level, at least you won't be able to clear. And for old players, they can clear it easily. For new players, it's a lot of frustration because they don't have enough built characters, and the blessings don't really do much. Um, they could have made it much more creative. They could have made the blessings change the way that you play the game. For example, you would get like different rarities for the blessings, and then if you get very big blessings that could be game changing, for example, something that would make you not need to run any healers because you life steal of the damage that you deal. That would be a really good idea. There are a lot of different things that you could have done to make the blessings more fun, but I'm not here to rant about Magisterium Theater. I'm just saying that whether it's the Abyss or Magisterium Theater, they didn't really fulfill what I wanted as someone who loved combat, and it's really a shame. Um, the second thing that I loved the most was the story, and I'm not talking about like all the story. I'm talking about the main story, the Archon quests. I've always been excited to play all the Archon quests, and rarely uh, I've never missed a single Archon quest. I can play it the day it comes out or the next day. Um, but the problem is that they update them so slowly. Right now, the way it goes is that the first 2 patches or 3 patches of a region, you get the main Archon story, the last of which was Fontaine with Farina and all the things with the Hydro Archon and the Hydro Nation, and then you don't get any more story content till maybe around the 3 or 4 batches later, when they gave you a Dane slave quest, which makes you remember, oh, yeah, the whole purpose of my journey was to look for my twin. And then that quest lasts for around an hour or two, sometimes three, and then boom, that's it. No more story content for the whole year. And that's also a shame. That's another of one of my big problems with Genshin Impact. I love the story. I want to know what will happen what will happen next, and I want to know a lot of the lore and have them explore more of it. But the way things stand, they leave a lot of things as ambiguous, and uh, we really don't get much story content. And all those filler batches, yeah, that's what they feel for me. Filler batches. If you're not giving me story content, that's what I feel. Um, just feel a bit awful to play through. Um, Now, the third problem with me is that exploration hasn't really been fun, especially after the rainforest. Maybe it's a me problem. Like maybe I got burned out by the Aranara and the desert. But starting here, I wasn't really able to explore a lot. Sometimes I would explore a bit in Fontaine, but it wasn't that high. Like still, some regions are very low. Um, and a part of that is because y- they kept adding more and more world quests that are not voiced and with no escape button. Maybe uh, um, maybe some people just don't want to read through all the text. Maybe some people aren't that interested in those world quests. I, I've have a lot of world quests where I didn't feel that were that interesting for me, and if I had a skip button, it would have been perfect for me. But sadly, we don't have this in Genshin. And this brings me to my fourth and final problem with Genshin Impact, which is the disconnect between the devs and us, the players. Um, I've been one of the people who would fill surveys very well. I'll try to write out everything that I think that the game needs to improve, but it never felt that the devs would act out on any of the surveys. People would also make videos about the different problems that they have with Genshin Impact, but the devs never really seemed to care, and that disconnect really stings because um, we have a lot of feedback about problems that we have with Genshin Impact, and these problems just never get fixed. Um, for example, the skip button. How many times have we asked it for it, but they just never implement it? The problem with Paimon speaking for us, and how many people find that this is not that fun, and even though that they haven't added this in their other games like Honkai Star Rail or now Zonless Zen Zero, but still they didn't listen to us. They didn't really change the way Paimon is. They kept it the way it is, and that's just two examples of many in-game content. A problem with progression in the game, and how you basically don't have much incentive to build for characters anymore, unless you just want to build for your wife or husbando. It's just there's no real significance to it anymore. I feel like the last time that I felt hyped up about a character was because of the promotional videos that they made for it, for example with Arlecchino, and then the hyped up died quickly because simply you build a character, you build it to very good stats, and then there's nothing much for you to do with it. Like I got Arlecchino, I got her weapon, I built her fairly well, and that's it. The hype died. Why should I build for more characters? It just feels that there's no incentive anymore, and it feels that the only reason that I haven't quit the game is because I just want to make sure that I have some wishes for when the new region drops, because I still care about the story. I still want to see what happens when we reach eventually the end of this story, and I'll be there when Netland drops and be there to play the Archon quest for sure. But I'm not sure if my interest in the game would still be there, because it feels like I would probably play the Archon quest, maybe build the Archon, and then dip of until another Dane slave quest by this time next year maybe, and then play it and then quit again till Snezhnaya drops. And it doesn't feel that the devs care about any of this. They would keep their cycles the same. They would keep the way the game is the same, and it's really a shame because, as I said, I love this video game. I've invested a lot of time in it, but yeah. So that's about it. I just wanted to cover my problems with Genshin Impact and why it's not just as simple as the rewards are bad in this game. Uh, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it and that some of you may or could relate to what I was saying. And that's about it. Thank you.